Hi everyone, welcome to week three's Paint with me. I am so excited that we have finally made it to week three. This week's topic is final touches, and so I just wanted to explain a little bit more about this entire process, especially with this week's Mindful Monday activity, which was to take a 1 hour social media break. So if you are ready to go ahead and get creative, go ahead and grab all of your art supplies, get your piece out. Today I will be working on part 2 of my self-portrait. For this week's Mindful Monday task, I asked everyone to take a 1 hour social media break, and I really wanted this activity to be intended for us to put a little bit of our time in other activities, whether that was taking time to journal or meditate, go for a walk, check in with a friend, check in with yourself. I think that this would be a great time not only for you to have a little bit more free time to work on your art pieces, but it is also a little bit more time for you to spend a few moments reconnecting with yourselves and those around you. I wanted to include this piece because there have been times in my life where I don't think that I was so in tune with how I was dealing with emotions and loss and grief and anger and sadness. I guess some of the more negative feelings, if you will. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my own journey as far as mental health and emotional well-being go. And if you guessed it, art has definitely become one of the ways where I am able to release my feelings. I just find it very relaxing, and sometimes it is hard for me to get words out. And so if I can put down my feelings in a color or in a line, in a drawing, once I'm able to sit with them and create something, then when everything is said and done, and when I'm explaining the art piece to people later on, the words come easier to me to explain exactly how I was feeling and what things I was going through at that specific point in time. Just like last week, if you watched last week's Paint With Me video, I shared a few poems that I wrote, and one of those poems was about my dad and a transition in life that we had. And so I don't think that in that moment I was able to let those feelings and thoughts out, so I wrote it down in a poem. And then looking back at it years later, I can recall exactly how I felt, and that was something that, I had let go with time. And I think art is just one of the ways that we can do that. So for myself in particular, I am someone who, before recognizing that I needed help dealing with some of these negative feelings, I would work myself to the bone. I would throw myself into as many activities as I could, especially in, I want to say, high school and college. I would throw myself into activities so that way I wouldn't have to address, think, or feel anything. Because if I had, tasks and I had all of these different things on my plate, then it would be easier for me to just keep moving forward and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, trying to get all of these tasks done and work on all of these projects. But, that was not a healthy way for me to deal with my feelings, because I wasn't even addressing them at all. I was just moving forward in life as fast as I could, and I was hoping that some of these feelings would just resolve themselves. If I didn't think about them or talk about them, they would just go away. But I think more often than not, that is not the case. Those feelings stay with you. It's just not good for you. So if art isn't the way for you to release some of these thoughts and feelings that you have, then find a healthy way, something where you can be intentful and in tune with yourself. And I want to say that during my senior year of college, I was dealing with a lot. The summer before I entered into my senior year, I went through a lot of loss, and a lot of unexpected change. And I really didn't know how to address some of these feelings. So during this time, the only way that I knew how to cope with these feelings was to throw myself into everything all at once. And so I worked a job full time, I worked a part time job, I was going to school, I was leading the Indigenous Student Association, and all of these things kept me occupied to a certain extent. And I was able to not have the time to think about any of the loss that had happened or any of the grief that I still held on to. And it really wasn't a healthy way for me to continue living. So I want to say about halfway through the year, I ended up into an art store. I think the universe definitely has a way of working things out for you when you don't know what to do. I ended up in an art store, and that day I bought just your, I want to say, cheapest pack of brushes and a simple watercolor palette, along with a sketch pad. And that really began my journey of healing. And growing up, my mom always used to tell me that art is very forgiving, and the best times to create is when you are feeling any strong emotions. And I know that during this time I was feeling strong emotions. I didn't know how to release them. And so I went back to that original teaching and I started creating again. And when you are able to turn these feelings into something beautiful, into something that you can see and share with other people, it helps you not only heal, but you never know if it's helping other people heal. And all of the different interactions, whether they're a second long or an hour long, they really can make an impact on other people's lives. I want to, I guess, share with you some of the people who have really helped me, especially when it came to the creative process, because you never know what actions you are taking part in that might bring a positive light or some sort of healing factor to other people and to the people around you. And I have a little sister, and when I was going through a really tough time in life, for some reason she had asked to stay with me for a little while during her summer break, and I remember every day of her stay with me we were doing something creative. We were painting or we were drawing, and she didn't have to know the things that I was going through in order to help me. Just her being there and sitting with me and actually getting me to partake in some of these activities was healing enough for me, and they made me feel a whole lot better, and they just give you some comfort. And so if you are going through this art project alone, that is great. I am glad that you are getting in touch with your feelings. If you're going through this art project alongside a friend or with your family, that is even better, because you are getting to spend quality time with one another. And there have been many moments in my life where I have so many people to thank for giving me that quality time and giving me the opportunity to sit and create with them. I know in college I had a great group of friends in the Indigenous Student Association who helped me create, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them. These are some of the pieces that I was able to create in times when I was feeling a negative emotion. So this is the result of some of the confusion and frustration and sadness and grief that I was going through. This is the outcome of that. And I just wanted to be able to show you that good does come after the cloudy days. There are rays of sunshine that are coming, and it can be very healing. And I also wanted to give another shout out to my friend and distant family member, Mr. Kyle Sikakaka, because he is the last person that I was able to create with before the pandemic hit. And he just has this way of knowing when you need help, whether he realizes it or not. Just him sitting with you and joking with you and talking about life, it's really healing. Laughter is healing. So if you can, anytime this week, sit with a friend, check in with a family member. I hope that you all are continuing in your art pieces, and I'll see you later. Bye.